Well, rank-and-file members of the Country Liberal Party are urging the party to officially oppose the notion of a voice to Parliament. Joining me now is CLP Senator Jacinta Price. She joins us live from Canberra. Thanks so much for your time. You flagged in an interview last week that the official party position would be no. Are you getting closer to that?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm confident that is the case. I know that I've had broad conversations with a lot of my party members, and I like to think that I express the conservative values of my party, and that there is a lot of concern around the referendum and what that might mean for Territorians, and we don't need division along the lines of race in the Northern Territory. So, I'll be supporting my party. There are conversations that need to take place, obviously, on the floor of our up-and-coming Central Council. But I'm quietly confident, given the broad conversations I've had, yeah.
Why outright oppose it rather than try and shape it to get the best outcome here? Because I think the very first principle of affording powers to one group of people based on the race, based on race in this country, is fundamentally undemocratic. It's fundamentally un-Australian. It's fundamentally not conservative values either. And conversations I've had certainly with Aboriginal Territorians suggest that they don't want another overarching bureaucratic gatekeeping body, but rather the opposite. I know there are Warrapari people that see issues with the way in which the Central Land Council conducts itself and the lack of ability to actually have control of their own land or make decisions for themselves without it ultimately being the final decision of the Land Council. So there are far more practical ways that we can support Aboriginal people that doesn't involve creating an extra bureaucratic layer or gatekeeping over the top of everything else that currently exists. You talk about opposing race-based policies, though, but you also, call on those alcohol bans to be reinstated. Are they at odds with each other, those positions?
Oh, absolutely not. So my bill was created with the understanding there is no suggestion at all of any trace of race within my bill. It's about protecting vulnerable communities, and as we know, the vulnerable communities that exist involve everybody of all different backgrounds. So absolutely not.
In Aboriginal town camps?
Look, Aboriginal town, not just Aboriginal town camps, I'm talking about whole communities like Alice Springs in itself. And certainly in remote communities, it's not just Indigenous Australians that live and work on those communities. And, there are people who are non-Indigenous who support those communities, who would be considered vulnerable as well if they're feeling threatened in those communities. So it is about protecting communities, my bill is.
Okay, we just spoke to Dorinda Cox. She's the new Indigenous spokesperson for the Greens after Lydia Thorpe's departure. Lydia Thorpe is pursuing this black sovereign movement. She wants treaties. Dorinda Cox just told us that she doesn't fundamentally disagree with anything that Lydia Thorpe has had to say. What did you make of that?
Oh, look, I think Dorinda is more concerned with ensuring that she's towing the Greens party line as opposed to looking like she isn't. I think there's probably a little bit of confusion going on there, because I think you've got to draw a line in the sand. I mean, if that's what she agrees with, well, then why doesn't she stick to those values and wholeheartedly, hand on heart, say, look, I agree with Lydia's take on this. I feel as though she's probably perhaps been coerced by her leadership, by certainly those individuals who think they know what's best for Indigenous Australians within her own party, who aren't prepared to say no to Labor and want to get in there and back Labor.
Where's your bill up to? Because we reported last week on this program that in Party Room, when Peter Dutton wasn't there, that Scott Morrison, the former Prime Minister, picked up and suggested that the Coalition should adopt your bill as official policy. What did you make of that?
Oh, look, I mean, I guess I appreciate the idea that that would be a consideration for the coalition. I know that Karen Andrews, my colleague, put a motion to the floor of the House this week in support of my bill to try to galvanise support in the House of Representatives as well. So I feel quite confident that I have the support of my coalition colleagues across the board. So I'm really happy with that.
You are driving policy, Indigenous policy within the Liberals at the moment, the coalition. Shouldn't you just be Shadow Minister?
Well, I mean, you know, I have only been in the job for 6 months. Perhaps it's also great to be able to be a backbencher, so I can be loud and proud about a lot of issues that I'm very concerned with and have the freedom to do so. I'm not in any hurry to take on any, you know, significant portfolio sort of roles. I'm still happy to learn and understand the job and do what I can from the backbench. I'm really happy that I'm able to make an impact wherever I am, I guess.
Well, maybe that'll change in the future. Who knows? But look, do you think you'd feel constrained if you were in shadow cabinet or the shadow ministry? And how would you feel about a free vote on The Voice if that was granted by Peter Dutton?
Oh, look, yeah, I mean, ultimately I am, again, my position is very, very clear. My leadership understands this. I outright oppose the idea of The Voice and on the basic principle, again, that it divides us along the lines of race. I would hope that that's not the position that is taken, but obviously it is up to the leadership to make those sorts of determinations and particularly for, the Liberals have to have their conversation in their party room, but I'm certainly happy that in the Nationals party room, we're no all the way.